Hi there, this is Ron Williams, and we're at the corporate headquarters here at FGXpress. And today we've been in a brainstorm, kind of a retreat, if you will, hanging out with two of my very best friends throughout my career, Mr. Bob Maurer-Steed and Mr. Rick Basil. And what's fascinating about this is that us guys, we go back a while because we have traveled the globe. We've logged hundreds of thousands of miles together doing this business. And here we are again declaring that we are going to do our best work ever now. That last year, last decade means nothing as it compares to this year and this decade. And so we're really, really excited. For me, it's kind of a pleasure, it's a blessing, it's an honor because these are two people that I look up to, who have mentored me, and who I greatly respect. And first I want to start with Bob Maurer-Steed. Bob Maurer-Steed, he and his family started a company. They founded it from literally zero up to about $1 billion a year. And I worked for this company for several years and got to know he and his family very, very well. And what I love about this person is that from beginning stages of doing whatever job needed to be done, all the way to figuring out in his career to be a CEO, to be a president, to go live abroad in Europe and gain that international experience. I mean, literally top to bottom, inside and out, Bob Maurer-Steed. He is our new president of International. And Bob, I'd like to ask you, I mean, what was it like for you and your family to start? Did you ever know it was going to come to that large of a scale, and what was it like?
No, you can't know that.
Right. You
can hope, you can believe, you can dream, you can talk about it. And as we know in this business and in any business, anytime you talk about it, there's an eventuality. We started in the back with broomstick handles, mixing ingredients in 5-gallon buckets, and then we spent a lot of time under a single piston filler and moving bottles one at a time and capping the bottles till I had calluses on my hands.
And you did it yourself, I remember.
Yeah, and it was really an extraordinary experience to see it from that standpoint. And then as the company grew and really there were needs outside of manufacturing and sweeping the floor, I was very blessed to be able to step in and fill some of those needs. And it was such a great experience for me and my family. And we watched that business grow and grow and grow until it encompassed 43 countries around the globe. And so I was very blessed then to be able to travel to these countries. You and I spent a lot of time in many of those countries, had a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And we watched that company grow to $1 billion. And it was very interesting for me. And I have to tell you that that's the most important reason why I'm here today. When you and I connected and you started to talk about FGX, and I looked at that and I thought, holy cow, this really looks and feels and sounds a lot like the experience that we had in New Ways, where we watched this very small company become an absolute global powerhouse. Yep. And when I see the testimonials that are starting to come back on this product.
Crazy.
We just walked out of a room, Rick and I did, where these people are coming off the street and they're telling us about these unbelievable things that are happening to them. And you realize that these are products that are dramatically enhancing people's lives. And I love that. We come from a background really in an industry where a lot of people are paid to give you great testimonials. But when somebody comes in off the street and they've taken a strip and they've put it somewhere on their body and they have had a remarkable experience and they're there to tell you about it without being paid, that is real. That is really genuine. And I thought, this is a place where we could probably build the next great company. Yep. Now that's the primary reason why I'm here.
Awesome, Bob. It's so good to have you. And Bob, you and I remember we were pushing and pushing and pushing and pounding the pavement to get that company off the ground. And we struggled for a while. I mean, that's part of business, isn't it? But we never quit. And we heard rumor of this guy named Rick Basil. Yep. And Rick Basil was a legend. He'd done all kinds of good things in his career. And we did everything we could to get him into the company. And finally, we got the Rick Basil to come into that company. And I have to say, and you and I both know that a good leader makes us all look better, right? Rick Basil came in and the rest was history. Rick is a guy who built over 7 million people in his downline. He had thousands of millionaires. I remember one time he showed up at a convention in which there was over 50,000 people that showed up, most of which were in his organization. And so I know that you sold your organization, you kind of went into a brief retirement, or we'll call that a non-compete, and you're a free man. And you're here right now. Talk about that, Rick. Talk about some of the things that we can learn from you, what you did in those days to drive it, because this guy drove it.
Well, thank you, Ron, and I am excited to be here and reflecting back on that. and looking at the foundation we laid, and you guys being in the background supporting me and my team out there building it, it was a great combination. I mean, we just went to town. And what did we do? In 12 years, like $9 or $10 billion in sales total. I mean, it's amazing. And we got that global vision back then that we've carried with us right here ever since. And like you said, I sold my organization, retired for a few years, non-compete, and I looked around. I looked at probably 30 different network marketing companies.
Well, you didn't look. You were getting pulled in every
direction.
I
was getting pulled in every direction. That's true. And finally, you showed me what you had, Ron, you and Bob, and it just, I said, this is it. The light came on. And I said, we can do the same thing here we did before. We got the energy, we got the vision, we got the desire, and we got the know-how. And we're a lot more experienced this time than we did it before. The last time we did it, we're a lot more experienced. We know the ropes now.
Absolutely.
And we built it in 43 countries. That last company, we're going to 190 countries this time.
Yes.
We're going to erase all the borders of every country, and something that's never been done in the history of MLM. Nobody's ever done this before. What we're talking about doing here is going to every country in the world simultaneously. Nobody's ever had it before. With a product that absolutely works magic.
Yep.
With everybody that uses it, it's magic.
Yep.
I don't care what your problem is, it's magic. And one of the key things that we discovered back then in that company was the lateral transfer program. That was the ultimate secret that caused the explosion in our business like it did, where everybody could come in and do a lateral transfer. Didn't have to start at the bottom. If they already had been in network marketing before, didn't have to start at the bottom. Could start close to the top, get top pay while they're building their team instead of being at the same level their team is, going up and making less pay. They can start at the top. If you give them the option of working your way to the top or starting at the top, which one would you take?
You got to start at the top.
Start at the top, and that's what we put together here, this lateral transfer. It's cranking. We hadn't even officially kicked off yet. I mean, I know it's on this month, but I know it's a monthly thing for this month, but you got time to get in while the getting's good.
Yep.
And so the lateral transfer, the compensation plan, the 62% payout, I mean, that's incredible. But the product ratio allows us to pay that kind of money out in the market plan. So we're going to have some of the biggest checks in the history of the industry.
That's right.
I mean, my gosh, if you look at the marketing plan, you can see it tops out at like $65,000 a week. That's if you just build your X Tribe.
Right.
Just build one X Tribe and keep driving it down, 65 grand a week, Ron.
And I like where you're going, Rick, with this, because Rick is talking about this lateral transfer program where you get 8 packs for the price of 7. You get grandfathered or vested at this top level position, and you have now inventory to share power strips with your market so you can build your X Tribe. Yeah, so I mean, it's a perfect kind of circle, if you will, of creating the perfect storm of duplication, and it's got to be simple and it's got to be duplicable. Well, folks, you've asked for a field general, okay? We got the best field general. This is our new international field director, and this is the guy, I call him the drill sergeant. He says, here's the drill, and let's get to work. And if you ain't gonna get to work, don't get on my calls. I mean, he's very simple and plain. He's, I mean, it's just a matter of fact when you work with Rick Basil. So pleasure, honor to work with these guys. What I love is how important it is to them to stay relevant, using the latest technology on the internet, Skype, Hangouts, 3-ways, live stream, 3-way calls, whatever it takes. These guys are now at your service. And we've decided here that we're gonna do our best work ever, that service supersedes selling, and we are here to serve you. I want to tell both of you guys, welcome home to Forever Green. You're home now. Thank you so much, Rick Basil.
We are home.
Bob Mallerstein, thanks.
We're excited.
Appreciate it.